talks with Henry Davis over the weekend in Philadelphia. And one of the things that he mentioned, in addition to saying that he was starting to feel a little bit better at the plate and other stuff that I think nobody at this stage would want to hear, was that he didn't lobby, he didn't complain, but he did make it pretty clear that he'd like to play a little bit more often. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Pirates 3, Reds 1 yesterday at PNC Park. Davis batted ninth, and he got a rare start because day game following night game, neither of which reflects particularly well on a number 1 overall pick at age 25. And he proceeded to go out there and have a hell of a game. Went 2 for 2, an RBI, a walk, threw out a runner at second base. Kid's got an 80 arm, by the way. The scouting scale, if you don't know this in baseball, runs from 20 to 80. He has an 80 arm. And he also made a terrific deke and tag at home plate to record an out on a relay throw from Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, which, by the way, was also really good. Ended the 5th inning with that. And all of that gets Henry's season average up to 190. It gets his OPS to 539. And those 2 hits represented a quarter of his entire 2025 output to date. So I'm obviously not going to take this very far. And neither was Henry, for that matter, in speaking about it after the game.
Yeah, I mean, certainly as opportunities come, just want to be as prepared as I can. And that starts in the workday, and I really feel like I've been getting after it.
See, here's the thing, though. I'm not ready to throw Joey Bart anywhere either. Bart's a better hitter. He's been one for a couple of years now, and Bart's only 28. So the Pirates retain his rights well into the next general manager's tenure. And if nothing else, Bart can certainly become, a terrific backup, at least from the offensive perspective. I think we've seen some fairly ominous signs about Bart's ability to literally catch the ball at times. And on top of that, let's remember that Endy Rodriguez is coming back from an injury, and Endy is still seen as principally a catcher. Though, as we've discussed many, many times, he's plenty athletic enough to play somewhere else if his bat should warrant that. But Henry, just focusing on Henry and looking at his pedigree, where he was taken, why he was taken, and then hitting everybody over the head with a great big Captain Caveman club with the reminder that you can't throw away a number 1 overall pick, not just based on saving face, but based on the remarkable scope of the asset that's lost. I don't need to tell anybody that the Pirates are already bad enough in terms of acquiring talent because of their payroll limitations, because of Bob Nutting being risk-averse, Major League Baseball not having a salary cap, all that other stuff. They've got enough things handcuffing them. They don't need to turn a number 1 overall pick into a third-string catcher. So what I would put forth here, and once again, this is where having the new GM in now as opposed to later would help, is that your season's shot, okay? This season is blown to bits. It's not going anywhere. Nice job taking a couple from the Reds, but the standings don't lie. Team's still 17-33, still dead last, still a mile behind everybody else. So what really probably ought to get considered, and again, I'm not taking too strong of a stance here, but probably ought to get considered by somebody in charge, all the way up to and including the owner, because you're hanging on to this GM who would at least theoretically be interested in self-preservation. And there's no way that should be an issue right now. But maybe somebody somewhere can say, listen, if he's feeling even a little bit decent, meaning Henry, we're going to have to give him some games. And there's no better time to do that than now. You don't want to be doing it in 2026, especially not when the new GM comes in and makes all kinds of changes. And you would, to use the word again, theoretically be looking at trying to win for real. So play Henry. You can split them. You don't have to have a number one catcher and a number two. And then once Endy comes back, you definitely don't need to be sending Henry back down. I don't feel like he has anything left to achieve in the minors other than burnishing his brand as a 4A, and that doesn't help anybody. If he goes down there and hits 600, all anyone's going to say, yep, classic 4A guy. Nothing positive comes from it. So, see what he's got. Do this again. Put him in the 9-hole. Play him. Let's at least see. When we come back, J1Q. If you're looking for a great dining experience, look no further than North Shore Tavern. Located directly across Federal Street from PNC Park, next door to Mike's Beer Bar, North Shore Tavern is Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone. Enjoy your steak finished on a hot lava stone in front of you, where you ensure each piece is cooked to exactly your liking. Or try their rotating selection of entrees, hot sandwiches, salads, and burgers, all while enjoying the ambiance dedicated to the great players and history of the Pittsburgh Pirates all around you. Come see why everyone's talking about North Shore Tavern and steak on a stone.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragechek.org. That's gunstoragechek.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Jeffrey Bobeck in D.C. He says, DK, your recent commentary on the Penguins' possible jersey retirements got me to thinking, we're 2 months away from Dave Parker's induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame, and I haven't heard whether the Pirates are considering retiring his jersey. Other than Lloyd Wainer, I can't think of another post-1920s Pirate who's in the Hall whose number hasn't been retired. And taken another way, every number on the wall that's currently there belongs to a Hall of Famer except for Danny Murtaugh, who many believe should be in, and let's not get into the Billy Meyer thing. Wouldn't it seem weird if Parker weren't so honored by the Pirates? One of the things I try never to do is to mix Pittsburgh sports discussions related to longevity, the Hall of Fame, retired numbers, and that sort of thing, because it's really, really complicated, in large part because the Pirates have been around so much longer. Pirates, for those who don't know, were born in 1882, the Steelers in 1933, the Penguins in 1967. Parker is a deserving inductee into the Hall. He was, at the peak of his career, one of the 2 or 3 best players in baseball. That was certified by his having been the National League MVP in 1978. Also finishing 3rd in the MVP voting in 1975 and 1977. That's serious credibility there. He ended up having 2 other MVP-type seasons, both of those in Cincinnati, but I don't think anybody could question that his best work, and by the way, the cap he'll be wearing when he's inducted, that'll be all Pittsburgh. But number retirement. Officially, there are 10. You can throw 2 of those out, in my mind. Meyer, you've already referenced, should never have had. I mean, just not a good manager, not anything, just a mistake. But what are you going to do multiple decades after the fact? And Jackie Robinson, and I'm saying this with immense, obvious respect, the league-wide thing, I understand it. I get not wanting anybody to wear 42, but I don't like when it's listed along with the other Pirates. That's just awkward, and they do that with every team now. Robinson's a Dodger. He's a Dodger. They're the only ones that should be showing off that they've got 42 in blue and red. Anyway, so that leaves the other 8. And they are, and these will be in numerical order, Ralph Kiner, number 4. Willie Stargell, number 8. Bill Mazeroski, number 9. Paul Wainer, number 11. You correctly mentioned that Lloyd, the other poison, was not so honored. Pie Traynor, number 20. Roberto Clemente, number 21. Which is also, incidentally, league-wide, and which also should not be included in other teams' list of retired numbers. He was only a Pittsburgh Pirate. Number 40, Danny Murtaugh, and the number that gets attached to Honus Wagner is 33. They weren't wearing numbers when he played. Like, players just weren't wearing them. It wasn't a thing. Eventually, he wore 33 as a manager, so that's the one that they chose. But as I look at the list, I really hit hard by the number of names who don't have their numbers retired and just being honest here, made bigger contributions in Pittsburgh. At least one can argue that. That's obviously always going to be in the eye of the beholder. I can throw out Max Carey, Hall of Famer, spent a decade and a half with the Pirates, was a key part of their 1925 World Series championship. But then you start getting into all kinds of back and forth, and it sounds like you're putting down people who were just nothing but great, and that's never the intent with this sort of thing. When you're looking at retired numbers in general, I would say that the ones that you could add in addition to Carey and Lloyd Wainer, the one that leaps to mind for me is Archie Vaughn. The trouble there is that he wore 21. So you can't retire 21 twice, can you? So it's like this. If you do it with Parker and you retire 39, nobody anywhere is going to object. Okay, and I wouldn't either. But you also have to bear in mind that you don't want to just keep matching every honor or replicating every honor with an additional one. That's one of the many reasons it's wonderful that the Pirates have started their own Hall of Fame and gotten recognition for some outstanding players, outstanding people who otherwise might not have been recognized. I would really limit the jersey numbers. To me, the next one should be 22. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody checking out Daily Shot of Pirates. We'll be back with another one of these tomorrow.